Okay, it's always a delight to know that you're there with us on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television. This morning on ITV, we call it TMI. Well, in today's program, we have a special guest. Special because of the circumstances surrounding this interview. For about 18 months, that's almost 2 years, he was incarcerated abroad for some alleged criminal activities. Back home, it became a major issue for political altercation, political interactions, and you can just go on and on and on and on. But the point is, at the end of it all, is back home in one piece, and we're grateful to God for that. But it's always good that at moments like this, you engage the issues so you can make more sense of all that transpired, because the social media has created an opportunity for all kinds of things to fly around. I'm talking about the immediate past commissioner, the State Commissioner for Arts, Culture and Diaspora Affairs, Osemwengie. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much,
on the program TMI.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Quite a very interesting moment. About 18 months ago, when the news broke about your arrest, what was dominant in the public space is that you were caught with about $2 million or £2 million. I can't remember the exact amount. In fact, you were traveling with the governor, His Excellency Governor Obaseki, and then in the process you were incarcerated. That was very dominant in the public space. And then to perhaps lend some credence to that, what people thought was going to be resolved maybe in the next couple of days went into weeks, weeks into months, and then multiple months as it were. So give us the background. What really happened? What transpired?
Thank you so much, Sonny, for having me in this program. First of all, I was surprised that in this modern day and age, people will still be spreading that kind of rumor that somebody will carry $2 million cash in his possession and traveling. Nothing like that happened. It has nothing to do with the money. And again, I wasn't traveling with the governor as well. I was traveling with my colleague, the commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs then, Mode Osaibovo, because we're going for a meeting in Berlin on the invitation of the Nigerian ambassador to Germany, His Excellency Ambassador Tuga. We're actually going for a meeting when what happened. It has nothing to do with the governor. It has nothing to do with money laundering. I think I've overflogged that now. And even the same social media people that were spreading that rumor, probably because of very primitive politics, have seen it all. Because when you start casting talking about lies or about people and all that, without even thinking of the consequences that it will have on that person or even his family, it's a shame. Regardless of how we play our politics. But again, that's why once you're a public figure, you expect all those things to happen. We did our National Festival for Art and Culture. We still adjudged the best ever festival held in this state. That was the first time, and the 32nd edition in 40 years, which was very good, popular, and we had a lot of very important guests all over the world that came. Then after that, we needed to go for a meeting, about the artifacts. Even with the Benin Restitution Committee that was set up in Berlin, and some other Germans that were bringing the artifacts to the ambassador in Germany, and he had invited me to come, and myself and the former commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs. So on our way on the 1st of December, we took our flight and got to Amsterdam, because we used the KLM flight. And I was surprised. I put my passport, through the machine, connected my flight to Berlin, and it flagged off. I've been traveling for the past 24 years, and most of the time I use KLM, which is my favorite airline. It flagged off, and I didn't know what was happening. So I called the security man there and said, "What's going on?" So they came and checked, and so maybe I have ticket issue or something that's flagged off on the machine. Well, so I followed them to the office, and they checked their system and checked and all that, and I said, "Oh, that I'm being wanted in Italy." I was I was cracked up. It was fun. It wasn't funny then, but I said, for what? He said mafia-related offenses. So, and I asked him to check the system again. So they went through and through again. I said, well, it's been there. Apparently, there was a European arrest warrant, not even Interpol, that they were spreading that there was a European arrest warrant on me, for the past 3 years. And I've been traveling, using that KLM, traveling through, anyway. So I contacted my family immediately. In fact, I called the German ambassador that invited me and told him what was going on. Then I asked the Saibovo and the people that were in my entourage to continue the journey, that I would join them soon. Maybe there's just little hiccup to check. So the ambassador contacted his colleague in Holland, Ngo Faoji, who was very, very helpful. The Holland staff, the embassy staff in Holland were very helpful. They came to visit me and they got me a lawyer immediately, and we started the case. We asked for more evidence from Italy to show proof of crime committed. Nothing was forthcoming.
At this point, where were you?
Amsterdam.
You're still in Amsterdam?
Amsterdam, yes. I was in Amsterdam for about 2 months and a few weeks. I was arrested on the 2nd of December, 2019, and extradited to Italy, Rome, on the 21st of February, 2020, because we tried to fight the extradition there. We asked for more proof. We went to court. And the judge told me that, well, this is European arrest warrant. It's like a family thing. They can't really judge the case there. So they need to extradite me to Italy, where the case was. And, So we got to Rome. In fact, that is the day as coronavirus actually struck in Rome, in Italy. So we were thinking, just how they believe that, when no crime was committed, no facts, no evidence, so they'll let you go. So I contacted a lot of my friends, my family, and in fact the governor, telling him that this is what has happened. And the first question the governor asked me, are you clear? Are you okay? I said, yes, I'm fine. I didn't commit any crime. And he said, well, I believe you. The governor contacted the Minister of Foreign Affairs, telling them that this is what happened. My commissioner have been arrested. He told me he's innocent, and I believe him. Please do everything possible to assist him. So we did our fight the extradition. It didn't work, and got to Rome, thinking, okay, once we go to court, we'll still ask for evidence. I was thinking, this is 21st century, where justice all over the world should be facts and evidence, not making up or cooking up stories. I still don't understand what's going on. They brought the case file. I read the case file. Apparently, the prosecutor said he has been investigating me and others for some boys for over 5 years. We went through the case file. He was on their phone, our telephone interception, pre-progressive, their meetings, their life. There was no single communication. There was no single communication between myself and anybody in Italy. So I was still wondering. Apparently, the last time I went to Italy was in 2013, when I went for a charity organization meeting. And I addressed the Nigerians that were there, and told them to be well behaved, to be good ambassadors of our country. We discussed about my political ambition then, coming back to Nigeria, and what we intend to do, and how they should be well behaved. And a good thing about that meeting, I think because the police was already investigating some of those boys that were in the meeting, so they heard about the meeting because they were on their telephone, telephone interceptions and all that. And they bugged the place where the meeting was held, which was very good for me. So they came, bugged the place, and have a recording
of what transpired.
What transpired. 3.5 hours meeting, which was very good. And that is the only thing that linked me to the whole case. Afterwards, the prosecutor was still on their case, and in fact was even still following me. When I became the commissioner for diaspora affairs, I traveled all over the world and doing my, diaspora activities and all. He was on my case. So when he decided to arrest me on the 2nd of December, I still didn't know why. So we did all that. I went to court on the 9th of March, the Freedom Court, because my lawyers challenged the arrest procedure. And there were a lot of errors and discrepancies in the arrest procedure by the prosecutor. So we challenged that and got victory on the 12th of March. So the judge, Elizabeth Barbara, asked that I should be released immediately from the prison. And I was kept in maximum security, with other Italian mafia bosses. So they gave me a release note from the prison. I was happy. At least nothing is being found and all that. Why? In fact, my lawyers have called my family that I was coming home. They were giving me the release paper, and on this hand,
And they were
issuing another arrest warrant.
With the other hand.
Exactly, by the prosecutor. Oh, yes, this case you are free, but the prosecutor is issuing an arrest warrant.
For what?
Exactly. On the 12th of March. So, you understand? I said, okay. So we started that, and, you know, I spoke to the lawyers. The lawyer said, oh, this is Italy, things like this can happen and all that. But I was confused. So we started, then the next hearing day was now July, the pre-trial. So even at that, I still had hope that at the pre-trial, the judge will ask for evidence. You know, and if there's no evidence, they have to let me go. So because there was no telephone conversation between me and anybody, there was even no evidence of crime committed.
Okay, there was this talk about, okay, you heading a certain organization in the past, and the organization was involved in some trafficking and some laundering and stuff like that. That never existed.
Sonny, those were all cooked up stories. Yes, I was a member of the Green Circuit Association, registered in Nigeria, registered in London, registered in Italy. It was a charity organization of friends giving back to the society. You remember I came here when we did our convention in Sheraton Hotel in Abuja in 2011 to talk about the activities of the charity organization. So, but that was the meeting that was held, and then the prosecutor was using that. I said it's a cover-up for cultism. How can my age and my person be involved in cultist activities? I left school 30 years ago. So I still believe that what students do in school is up to them. Yeah. So you can't expect me at this age to still be dealing on that. What would I stand to benefit? But the prosecutor was just cooking up stories, making up a lot of stories to arrest Nigerians and put them in prison. Because the only thing that the man was, which I later found out, was that they collect money from the European Union, that they are fighting mafia. Oh. So their own mafia. And the European Union just said, you deal with the mafia, we'll give you money.
We'll support you.
We'll
give you everything that you need.
Let it not spread to our country. So they finished with their own mafia. They now descended on Nigerians. Do you understand? We have our boys, all these boys that go from Libya through the Mediterranean Sea and all that, looking for greener pastures. And when they get to Italy, they don't have a job. They start, some of them sell marijuana, some doing credit card fraud and fighting on the street. They constitute nuisance there. Okay. But that is not enough for the prosecutor to put the highest Italian mafia criminal code, Article 416B, on them. That is slavery. Because you are collecting money from the European Union.
You want to justify that money you're collecting?
Without any single proof. Because the Article 416B of the Italian Criminal Code, what follows is importation and exportation of firearms, importation and exportation of drugs, prostitution, human trafficking, kidnapping, extortion, and killings.
And you were held under that code?
Exactly. As the boss. You understand? With no single proof, either by association, because I was worried that maybe those boys were actually committing a crime, and by association you are now linking me to it. Yeah. But I found out that those crimes were not even committed, because in the whole case file of the prosecutor's investigation for 5 years, I have my facts, I have my books here. He summarized on that 1,200 and something pages, on page 224 and 225 of the case file, that the only thing, the crime committed by few individuals, is credit card fraud and sales of marijuana in Italy only. I have that on record. And he said these are individual crimes. So the crime by the association or by individual other persons were not committed, were not even proven. So because he was trying to make up case, and he used this case, he convicted these innocent Nigerians and put them in prison for 9 years, 10 years, 11 years to justify the money they are collecting from the European Union, with no single evidence of these crimes. And he puts them there, asks them to plead guilty when it gets to appeal. Because he made the first arrest in 2016. 2018, they went for appeal, because it takes 2 years. They went for appeal, and he asked them, look, if you plead guilty, we will reduce the sentences that we've already given to you. But if you don't plead guilty, we will confirm the 9 years, 10 years, and 11 years that they sentenced them at the first grade of the trial. Okay. So these boys, they all pleaded guilty. They said after much pressure, because I met some of them in Rome.
So you're talking about your experience now in prison?
In prison, exactly.
With some of these Nigerians
that
in
I met,
prison.
exactly.
Okay.
So I met them. I said, what's going on? I didn't even recognize. I only met one of them that was in the meeting in 2013. And he told me, oh, this is what happened. They put pressure on them. You know, if they don't plead guilty, they're going to reduce, confirm the 9 years and 10 years and 11 years they put on them. So after much pressure, they all pleaded guilty, and they reduced the sentences from 2 years, 3 years, and all that to 6 years. Because if you look at the Italian Mafia Criminal Code, the minimum sentence conviction is 5 years. And that's for participants, according to them. The way you now have positions as national or wherever, it goes higher. And I was, they said I was the international president. So you were looking at 15 years in prison for that kind of position. And that was what the prosecutor said. But thank God, I had a lot of people praying for me. I had my family, I had my friends. I got a lot of support, you know, from the governor, from friends and family. I was able to fight this. You know, cost me a lot of money. Because I got the best lawyers. I didn't rely on the government lawyers that the prosecutor normally provide for these people. And that's how I got my victory today. So you see, that on the 24th of November, 2020, when we started the trial, because the pre-trial, they ask you whether you want to go for the short trial or the long trial. And if you go for the short trial, you take 2/3 of the conviction when you are sentenced. But if you go for the long trial and you are convicted, you do the full trial. So most of these boys take the option of the short trial because they've already put them in maximum security in prison for over 1 year before the trial even starts. So they've been demoralized, they've been, you know, disoriented, and, you know, they don't even know what to do. They actually start convincing themselves that they committed a crime. And when you are in there, you are meet with the criminals, the Italian mafias, who tell you that, oh, they did this, they've been sentenced, they've been convicted for 20 years, 30 years, they've been in prison for those long. Do you understand? So I was surprised, and we now asked them, what is going on? You know?
Okay, so now, what's the implications of it? Because you said, this looks like an ongoing procedure where people are fingered. There are allegations against people, and those allegations, on the basis of those allegations, using the Italian Mafia Criminal Code, such people are incarcerated. So if, for example, you didn't have the resources, you didn't have the contact, you didn't have the personality, perhaps your story wouldn't be what we're talking about. So what does it mean for Nigerians?
Sonny, if first of all it's God was on my side. People were praying for me. My parents, my friends, my family were praying for me. And even people that don't even know me. Because they heard the story, they were praying for me. And God held our prayers. God provided the resources. God provided the evidence, the proof. You know, I had very good friends that stood by me. So that is what worked for me. But these innocent Nigerians don't have that privilege or luck, you know, that I had. And that's why they are being put in prison. If I didn't have that, I would have been in prison, in Italy prison, for the next 15 years. And people would just conclude that I committed a crime. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is what is happening. This is what this man, Dr. Stefano Castellani, has been doing.
That's the prosecutor.
Yes. And other states in Italy are now reaching out to him to get that format. So when I got to Torino prison, I met some of those few Nigerians, in fact, and look at their case file. It was just the same. What this man does, remove your name and remove the association he's accusing and put those ones there. And every other thing is the same format. October 28th last year, 70 Nigerians were arrested. Some of them, they brought them to the same prison I was then. And we looked at the same thing. It's just the same format. What did they show on television? A kitchen knife. You are accusing people of a very huge crime of mafia-related offenses.
Drug peddling,
prostitution,
trafficking,
you know, importation and exportation of firearms, and you are showing a kitchen knife on the television. What the prosecutor did, on the 24th of November, they asked him, where is your evidence against Mr. Osemwengie that you are calling him a mafia kingpin? Because we took the option of a long trial. So he was now compelled to bring the evidence that he has against me.
He didn't have.
What did he bring? He brought a manual, a forged manual, a manual. And he said, this is the manual. I have a copy of it that they call Green Bible, that this is the manual that the association used, the Green Circuit Association used for their criminal operation activities. I was laughing.
Okay, now I'm just wowed by this revelation. What with the fact that back home in the country, Nigeria, we think that things like this are prevalent because of who we are. It's shocking to us to know that this sort of corruption, you know, it abounds in a place like Italy. So what's your next move? I mean, going through these experiences politically, what's your next move?
No, like politically, God will decide my next move.
Okay.
My focus right now, Sonny, is the innocent Nigerians that I left behind. Because I know that those boys did not commit this crime. We have over 300 Nigerians.
300?
Yes, I have the names. I collected their papers, their case file. We have over 300 Nigerians in Italia, maximum security prisons, arrested for these mafia-related offenses without no single evidence. So my next move is to raise awareness, create awareness. I started that from, when I got into Lagos, in fact from London, when I did my Thanksgiving. I started that to let the world know that this is what is going on there. And we all need to stand together to raise the awareness and, let the world know that this is injustice. This is modern day slavery on these innocent Nigerians. Because these boys are breadwinners. Some of them are breadwinners. Some of these families back home in Nigeria, in Benin, in Edo State and other states are depending on these boys. They don't even know where they are. But they are locked up in prison thinking that they committed crime just because of a complex and corrupt system.
Okay.
I'm going to Abuja this week. I'm meeting up with the chairperson of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Honorable Dabiri. I'm meeting up with the Inspector General of Police. On the 26th of this month, which is next week, we are organizing ourselves and leading a protest, a peaceful protest in front of the Italian Embassy in Lagos. Okay. Because we want to tell them, make the demand of the immediate release of those innocent Nigerians. I made a promise to them that they will not be forgotten. And that is what I've started. So my focus right now, my priority right now is to raise the awareness. The whole world should know what is going on in Italy. Let them provide the evidence they have against them. If they can do that, then that's fine. The forged manual, which they call the Green Bible, that they brought against me on the 24th of November, I have a copy of it. And if you look at the manual, on page 14 of that manual, it states that we criminal organization involved in AZ, ABCD are there on page 14. On page 14. And I told the judge, I said, Mr. President, which is what they call their senior judge there, is there any organization or association that will write in a manual that they are criminal organization?
Even if they were criminals.
Exactly. That the Boko Haram and the Al-Qaeda, would they have a manual and write it there that they are criminal organization? On that same book on page 32, 33, and 34, you have a copy of the communique of the Green Security Association Convention in Asaba in 2017. On page 51 of this same forged Green Bible, it said that this book was written in 1978 by a University of Benin student. So I drew the attention of the judge to this manual that he brought. How can a book that was written in 1978, stated there on page 51, have a communique of an event of 2017 inside?
It didn't add up.
They didn't add up. So they just, I made it full of the prosecutor. And the judge just shook his head and said, look, you did a very bad job. So in his conclusion, he said, well, the investigation was not properly done. The Green Security Association is not a mafia organization because he could not prove it. And thirdly, Mr. Osemwengie has been arrested and kept in prison unjustly. That was the verdict I got. But these innocent Nigerians don't have that. That's 70 Nigerians that we arrested. We have them from Anambra State, from Delta State, from Rivers. I have the list. So I'm going to read that out on the 26th. Let the state governors of these various states know that their citizens have been languishing in prison for crime.
Why didn't you sue for damages?
No, there are processes. Okay. I just came back to Nigeria. Sonny, I was released in May.
Yeah.
And my British passport got expired, so it took about 3 weeks. You know what it is to be incarcerated for that long? Yeah. You could lose your mental, your personality, you could lose a lot of things. Yeah. But I have faith in God, and God kept me going. So that will come. Okay. Definitely they will compensate.
Okay, let's conclude with this. Recently we saw a video where I think a Nigerian diplomat in Indonesia was subjected to the worst form of human treatment for a diplomat. And when you x-ray the events that led to that manhandling, you saw pride, arrogance, and all of that on the part of the Nigerian diplomat. I'm trying to see how you can marry this now with the seeming bad representation some Nigerians give to the country abroad. What do you make of this as a challenge that may be influencing this kind of treatment that Nigerians are getting abroad?
Yes, Sonny, we have about 200 million Nigerians, and in diaspora we have about 20 or 30 million, if that statistics is correct. Of course, every country, like Nigeria and any other country, have their bad people that commit crimes, but does not mean that all Nigerians are criminals.
Absolutely.
And that is exactly what I told the judge. If these boys are committing crime, doesn't mean that everybody or every Nigerian is a criminal. So what we need to do, if anybody commit crime, of course, arrest that person, prosecute that person according to the crime committed. So you cannot extend somebody else's crime to me just because I'm a Nigerian. Or you profiled me and say, oh, all Nigerians are criminals. It's wrong. That's exactly what happened in my case. And I told the judge. So these boys, some of them were selling marijuana on the street, doing credit card fraud. The prosecutor did his investigation. He had those names of those people that were doing it. So those boys should have been arrested and prosecuted for the crime they committed. Yeah. Not even the 416Bs, Article 416Bs, which is the highest Italian mafia criminal code.
Because even at the level of credit card fraud, selling marijuana,
yes,
it does not warrant
at all
the invocation of that
article 416Bs. Okay. So that needs to be clear. So whether you arrest these boys for courtesan or fighting or whatever they're doing, let them be charged for the crime they committed. Okay. Not using the Italian mafia criminal 416Bs because they do a lot of propaganda. Oh, 50 Nigerian mafias arrested. Then they put a lot of television propaganda and collect money from the European Union.
So that's sort of media trial.
Exactly.
Just like we have back home.
Exactly. So what happened in Indonesia is an eye-opener. Because in my own case, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, who came on air and started talking about what happened in Indonesia, I'm disappointed in him. I've said it severally. Because he was contacted by the governor of Edo State, His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki, telling him that, look, my commissioner has been arrested, and he should assist. There's a letter that the governor sent to him on the 14th of May, 2020, when my lawyers demanded that we could get accommodation for a house arrest. And the governor wrote a letter to the minister, copying the ambassador, Yina Yusuf, telling them that they should get a space for me in the embassy. And if there's no space, that they should get an apartment for me, that he will personally pay for that accommodation. But he refused to assist. There was no single visit.
Is that why you're saying you're disappointed in the minister?
Yes. There was no single visit from the embassy in Rome. There was no letter. There was no communication, nothing. Because they said the minister refused to give them directive. That's disappointing. If a senior government official like myself on official duty was arrested in abroad and didn't get any support or assistance from the consular or the foreign affairs minister, what is the fate of the ordinary Nigerians who are not government officials?
Well, he came out strongly to condemn this incident.
Because probably because he's a diplomat, or people he went viral on social media. Well, but my case was different. Because of the $2 million, puppet $2 million they were saying. So everybody started distancing themselves from it. Because no matter what happened, Sonny, when somebody is arrested abroad, it's the responsibility of the foreign affairs, of the minister or the ambassador to reach out to that person. And make sure that person,
good or bad,
whether he commit the crime or not, make sure that person gets a legal representative by the lawyer. You make sure that that person's welfare is taken care of. You make sure that that person's health. These are the responsibility of the embassy.
But I'm sure that's why we have the Nigerian Diaspora Commission.
Good. If
did you have any engagement? Representation?
No, I spoke to Honorable Abike Dabiri, who is very proactive and active. She said she was not aware of my case. She only heard about the $2 million. She's my friend. She said she would have come to visit me there. I said, yes, I'm out now. We still have innocent Nigerians back home.
And that we need to take off.
We need to take off. Do you understand? So like I said, on the 26th of this month, we're leading our protest. I want the family, there's going to be a contact number. There's going to be a web page set up for this, to fight this fight. And by time after 26th, next month, September, if they don't meet our demand or start the negotiation, because we are writing a letter to the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Italy, we are writing a letter to the Minister of Justice in Italy, we are writing a letter to the Italian ambassador to Nigeria. We'll read these letters out, get the word press involved, and submit it there. By the time we finish, they don't respond. I've already gathered myself and putting people together to do the same thing in front of the Italian embassy in London. So September, we'll go to London and make that protest. Because the world, they must listen to us and bring the evidence they have against these innocent Nigerians. Because these are young boys languishing in prison. Not 6 months, not 1 year, not 2 years. You're talking of a minimum of 5 years. You are destroying these people's life. While I was there, 2 of the guys have already started running metal there because they've been there for 4 years. One of them died in prison. There was one, they poured hot oil on him, one Efosa, in 2018. This shouldn't be happening. These are people's children. And these boys are there. The families, their wives, their children, their parents are feeling the pains of this injustice on these innocent Nigerians. It shouldn't be happening. The only crime they committed is because they are Nigerian and destiny took them through Italy. That's all. So we must stand together to fight this fight. I don't care those nonsense people write on social media talking about things that didn't even happen. You need to get the facts. I'm a victim, and it's my fundamental human right to lead this protest, to let the world know what happened. Because they start talking about compensation.
So you are from prison, you are metamorphosed into an activist. That's
No. I've been getting a lot of phone calls, people calling me, oh, my brother has been held in Tanzania. This, I said, no. I have facts, Sonny, so that any time you call me, I have my facts to talk about this mafia related crimes, or these people that are kept in prison in Italy. Okay. They did not commit a crime. There is nothing like Nigerian mafia. We don't have Nigerian mafia, and there is no evidence or proof of where these boys committed those crimes. So any other thing that happens somewhere else is different. Okay. Yes, I'm going to set up an innocent project later on. I have plans to do that. Okay. Because I made a vow to God while I was there to tell God that I will look at these kind of things that happen, even starting from Oko prison here. Yeah. But my focus right now is to let the world know what is happening in Italy, so that people can join us to fight it.
How has the feeling been like since you got back home, community?
Fantastic. I've been getting a lot of accommodation. I've been getting a lot of support. My friends, my family, people have been coming to say we thank God for your life. And yesterday my community in Igomohua village in Orion local government hosted me and welcomed me back. I was shocked. Okay. They just said, "Son, we want to have you back." So when I got there, I saw a lot of crowd. People excited, received me, and I was so pleased. The same thing, I went to His Royal Majesty, the Oba of Benin, and he welcomed me. And on that glorious day, His Royal Majesty, the Queen, the fifth Queen, had the quadruplets, which was very good. And the reception from my friends, even the government, my chief of staff, to the governor of Saigbavo, and other people have been welcoming me and even supporting me and say, welcome back home. So I feel great, I feel happy. But like I tell them, the support that we need to do now is to make sure we fight this fight for those innocent Nigerians.
Thank you very much. I want to say big thanks to you, Honorable Osemwengie. I mean, it could only have been God for you to have gone through this journey, come out alive, and be able to tell the story.
Yes.
And the way it ended, it just shows that the goodwill that you enjoy is huge, and the grace of God upon your life is massive. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sonny. Thank you.
Okay. It's the TMI Monday. It's been very, very wonderful having this conversation with Osemwengie, the immediate past commissioner for Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Diaspora Affairs, Edo State, who was incarcerated for wrong reasons, for trumped-up allegations by the Italian prosecutor over issues that he doesn't even know anything about. At least that has been proven by virtue of the fact that he's been discharged as and acquitted, like we say back here. But the plight of innocent Nigerians who are languishing in jail under the same pretext is a major issue that he wants to deal with in the days to come. We pray God gives him the strength to accomplish all of this. It's the TMI Monday. We'll take a short break. I'll be talking with the State Falcon Chairman in a moment. Don't go away.